Alright guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman YouTube channel at the Regal Gentleman Studio. Today we've got Sam in the chair. How are you, mate?
Yeah, very well.
You good?
Yeah, good. Pretty well.
So what we do, what's the plan?
I'm not entirely sure. That's probably.
Okay.
So at the moment it's just looks like a short hairstyle that's kind of grown out of control, which is what it is.
Which is what it is, yeah, exactly. You can't deny what it is.
No,
so.
I've always had short back and sides and it pushed over to the side.
Okay.
I think I'd quite like short back and sides again.
Okay.
Because I like the feel of it when it's a bit tighter.
Okay.
But I don't know what to do with the top.
Well, there's a lot of length in it. So
and my hairline is quite...
Is it? Let's have a look.
Far back.
Okay. I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't have known looking at your hair like that now, and I'm pretty sure anyone watching would have known that.
Hide it quite well.
Yeah, so if I pull that back, you wouldn't know by the way the hair's sitting. So I think that says to me, leave length in the top, or leave some length in the top.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't go for a side part.
Okay.
It's essentially, or brush over to one side, because essentially what it does, you brush it over from left to right to left. And that's what happens. I mean, it doesn't have to be kind of central down the middle here. It doesn't have to kind of flick. Mm-hmm. But if we were to maybe cut in the sides, whatever length we do on the back and sides, we just balance the top, and then just allow you to just run your fingers through it and let it fall as it does. So try and maybe cut it off so it's not in like a centre part, but just try and have it so if you do brush it back like this, let these bits fall either side, but have a little bit of texture, a little bit of movement through it. Sure. It'd be quite nice. I think that would really change if you take the sides and just hold it like that. And obviously there's a bit more height through the back, a little bit shorter through the crown. I think that would really look quite nice for you, to be honest. Especially with your hair colour as well, because you've got all the different facets of blonde, all the different tones run through your hair. It looks really nice.
Okay, cool.
Fancy that? Yeah, all right, easy enough. What are we thinking of back and sides? How short?
Again, if I go too short, I look bald. So I don't think I've ever gone shorter than a 3, but
that's fine. Yeah, I mean,
again, I'm quite easy.
But the thing is, if you've had a 3 normally, but you've never had a top longer, don't change that too much. Yeah. So have something that you're used to, okay? Because it can be, you know, it's you've had it quite long for a while, and then obviously you go and try and go back to something that you like maybe like the feel of the 3 on the back and sides and stuff like that. I wouldn't change that if you're changing the top, because it can be a bit too much of a change. Say like we said, like let's do a skin fade and then leave the top. It might just be too much for you, whereas if you have something that you're used to and something you recognise, especially like after so much time away from a number 3, you have something you recognise, give yourself a couple of days and you look in the mirror, it looks the same, you might feel a bit easier standing up on the top as well. So I wouldn't change it up too much.
Sure, cool.
Is that alright, yeah?
Let's do it, yeah.
Cool man, let's do it. Alright, cool. Right, well, I'm going to gang you up and get you started. Alright, thanks Sam. Right guys, so I'm going to start with a horseshoe section on Sam, because again, the top length is nice. I'm going to take some length off the top, but that we want to keep more length in the top, especially with these corners here. Especially when he came in, I was not expecting you to tell me that, so I thought that was probably a good way of, if I didn't see it, how will anyone else? You know what I mean? And this is my job, I normally see these things, so what you did was great. So I want to just try and emphasise that, but in a way that looks a bit smarter, looks fresher, looks like it's actually been cut. Now, we always work the horseshoe from the recession, okay? But all that allows me to do, I don't want to go like really high with the 3. I want to do quite a low 3 and build up some movement. So I still want this hair to be able to come back on the top there like that. And what that will do is just help me balance this top bit in. So again, we can still take away length on the top, but we're not kind of going really high and tight, because I think it just won't really look right. I think a 3 on Sam's hair has been so long since he's had it cut. I think it might look really short to him. So, and especially with this hair being blonde, it'll probably look like a 2. So what I would suggest is just keeping the 3 low, and then allow me to sort of blend it in, like blend upwards into the length on top. That would be the best thing to do. So that's what we're going to go with today. So the thing is with like the consultation, you know, the whole reason why I like having them and I try and be as in depth as possible is because, you know, it's not always sometimes as easy as like say sit in the chair and I know exactly what you want. I always find you've got to work together to get the exact haircut, because there could be looks that I think would work really, really well. And if I'm just left to my own devices, you know, you and everyone else might not like it. So I think what we've just done then, Sam, was a really good consultation and a good expectation for anyone who's coming as well for any future videos and whatnot, or even coming to see me, because, you know, working together with a reference and also just a few things that you maybe dislike about your hairline or whatever else, things that make you maybe not feel as confident or whatever it might be. You know, these are things that we need to talk about, because these are things that I can really help you with. I am going to work palm to palm to start with on this. I'm going to blend the 3 into that, because I still want to leave some length to the top, and I think by cutting it palm to palm and working the 3 lower down, I think it'll give a really nice texture through the sides and allow me to keep a nice squareness to it as well. I'm going to work up into the palm to palm, so I'm going to work out Not much length. That allows me to still keep that nice squareness through the sides, as you can see. When I let go of it, we're going to have that shape sitting through there. It also moves about like I wanted it to. And then I can use the 3 as almost like a tapering method down the bottom. So again, it's not as harsh as it probably could be, but it still is the 3 back insides that Sam wants. It's just working palm to palm. Now this is what I'm going to use to connect into the top. I'm going to use this 3 as well, down the bottom. If I was just to do a number 3 up, we'd have quite a sort of solid, like sort of blending point. Whereas I think working quite low down, it still leaves some length in with Sam showing that blonde, finer texture that just really like sits quite flat. It's quite nice that you can get away with going this short and it will still fall back. So it allows me to then kind of hide the fringe being fuller into a bit more of a looser finish. I do, you know, I have the very sort of lucky situation of booking out my own time. So I book out an hour for my appointments, right? Which allows me to do pretty much any haircut within that time, okay? Now, I never started off doing hour appointments at all. I started doing 10-minute appointments, 4 people an hour, 5 people an hour at Christmas, you know, 20-minute appointments when I moved. So, you know, I've never always had the luxury of doing hour appointments. So that's where I learned my trade, was in a walk-in barbershop, you know, and under pressure, 5 to 6, you close at 6, 5 people walk in, you can't send them away. I've been there, right? So I understand that some methods do take that little bit of extra time. So on this one, I'm going to show you, just cut up, just keep working down, and just cut. The only main focus here I want to get is here, okay? So you're going to use a 3 around the bottom. Don't worry about these bits down here, we're going to remove it with a 3, okay? It doesn't matter. All moving like, so imagine that 3 just under the bottom there, and then into that moving to the back, that look really nice. Nearly finishing this side now, and we can dry it off and start with our number 3. Right, let's dry this off. I'm just going to use a round brush, so I'll dry it into the shape. High heat, medium speed, nice and flat. I'm going to leave it down so it becomes a 3.5, okay? Start at the back, and then I'm going to work around to the left and around to the right hand side. So I really want to see where I'm going with this, okay? So 3.5, up to here. Look how short it looks in Sam's hair colour. So I can keep it nice and low, takes that edge off, but also still something I was used to, like I said at the start. Working up into my 3.5. Now I'm going to do like a nice taper on the neck, but I'm not going to go too high on the taper, just purely because it's going to look even shorter on the neck. And I think if we just do a nice low taper down to, like, say, obviously down to nothing, down the very bottom, but just something that isn't like a, you know, what we class as a fade, should we say, or what is perceived as a fade. I think will look quite nice. I don't want to take it like completely off down the bottom. I still want to have a little tiny bit of shadow from the hair down the bottom. Start from the bottom. This goes down to probably a 2, 1.5. So I'm going to use this as my way to taper. Okay? And into a 0.5, and that's going to be my taper. Okay? We turn the comb around now and go down to taper. With all that unwanted hair, especially for someone whose hair is this fine, in colour as well, not only in texture but in colour. It's quite thick when you go short, but it's very, very light, so I don't want to look too bald down the bottom. Get a bit shorter as we go down to the blending point. There's still a lot of length at the top here, and it still goes to the 3. So I don't think it looks that harsh. We've still got that length sitting through there as well. Starting on my taper. Up and on. Just tapering in through the hairline, right on here. Strengthen up the temple area, like so. Not going to cut into too much, just enough to sort of take away the little blonde hairs on the sides there, just to give it a bit more strength. So, onto the top now. Again, we'll try and maintain some length through the top, okay, but we want to try and cut it in so it balances and also keeps bits that we want thicker and whatnot. Would you be happy, Sam, losing about, say, that much on the top?
Yeah.
Would you be happy losing about that much?
Yeah.
That'd be okay, yeah?
Yeah, that's good, thank you.
Look at that. We'll cut that through the top. Again, I will be working sort of horizontal through the sides and just working club cut through the sides as well, but I think just for the top, a little bit of movement, a bit of texture on top. I always like to finish with a bit of point cutting. It's always a good way to remove the length and also kind of give a bit more of a jagged finish. Like so. And connect the two. Pick it up and pull it back towards me because I want to keep length for the recession. There's my guide, so I'm working to. Put it in. Guide there, and guide behind it. Vertical section. Take the fringe away, like so. And put everything at that blending point. Like so. Back, using my guide from the right hand side on my nails. That way. Like so. Across to here, down to where we started our blend with our 3. Usually it blends into the back. From that recession point we just sectioned off. Just bringing it across from here. I'm going to connect it into the top. What that's allowed me to do is keep the recession bit covered. Slice through that there, just so it flows a bit more into that blend. A little bit of thinning out on the thicker parts. And the crown here, so just working horizontally. Working horizontally all the way around. Just working horizontally again. Pulling it out away from the head. And then we come back. So I'm just going like so. And there. Just going to work out a razor over comb just to thin out through there. I'm going to use that round brush again to dry it off. On a high heat. Yeah?
Yeah, perfect.
Nice. You can see it just keeps the hairline looking nice and full.
Yeah, no.
Runs it across as well. But it doesn't look like we're trying to cover anything up at all. Okay, we're just trying to
neat as well.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's very similar sort of shape as before when you came in, but a neater version of what you've had, and obviously a lot of shorter version as well.
That looks great.
It's very easy to style as well, okay? Like that.
It looks great.
Enjoy it, mate. Looks nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome, mate. Thank you. Shoot the back, mate.
Yeah, it's nice.
That's what you get.
Very nice.
On both sides, it looks nice and full.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. Thank
Happy,
you.
yeah?
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I'm really happy with that, mate. I think it looks worth it.
That's good. Didn't even know I wanted this, but I like it a lot.
Sometimes you don't realise what you want, do you?
Yeah, it's nice.
It's hard when you've just been growing up, because you know, it's what to get, what's
Yeah.
for, isn't it? You know what I mean? Well, I think it was great. I'm really pleased with that. It's exactly what I wanted. In fact, it's probably a little bit better as well. You're very welcome, Sam. Thank you, mate. So let's just recap. So, Sam, I used to have his hair kind of 3 back in size, pushed over to one side. But when he came in, I didn't realise how high his hairline was. Now, that was something that was quite, Sam doesn't really want to show off. So we thought, let's just try and keep something that looks as though we're not, and it makes it look thicker. And to be honest, I wouldn't have known his hair was that high up when he came in because of the way it was styled. So I was quite shocked, to be fair. So I thought, well, why don't we just keep it a bit longer so he can have the option to lift it up on his face, he can kind of keep it covered. So say for example, he wants to drop it down a bit more, like when he came in, you can just bring that down a bit like that, and that way you'd never know where the hairline was. Okay? Just keeps it looking nice and fit, right? Nice and solid, and obviously, it doesn't give the kind of the appearance that I was trying to cover it either, which is what I like about the look, to be fair. And it's very bang on trend because these kind of floppy, kind of lived-in looks are quite in at the moment as well. So it's not like you try to cover anything because it's kind of a trendy haircut anyway. If you want to pull your mask down for us, you want as well. So I think that shape works really nice with your face shape, you know what I mean? So I think keeping that weight up there has worked really well. And that's it. Thanks, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.